Hi, this is Phil from PDQ Merchant Enterprises in an ATM Mastermind group page, and in today's video we'll be describing what a basic ATM operator does. Always remember, here at PDQ Merchant Enterprises and ATM Mastermind group page, we buy your freedom back one transaction at a time. So here we go. If you guys want to know what an ATM operator does, this video is going to explain it in detail. We're going to give you the top 5 things that the ATM operator does. Alright, so point number 1, what an ATM operator does or spends most of their time doing is they look for locations. They're always looking for locations. They do one of 3 things usually. For the most part, we do about 7, but for the most part you do about 3. You're always looking for a location, which means you get out of your car, you're looking at convenience stores, you're looking at gas stations, you're looking at hotels, laundromats. You're constantly looking to see, hey, is a new business opening up? Maybe you search the yellow pages to look for, that's old school term, I just dated myself. Maybe you go on Google and you're looking for, hey, I'm going to canvass the area, I'm going to look for how many laundromats, or I'm going to canvass the area and look for hotels in the area, or convenience stores or gas stations. And then you're going to go in those businesses to see if there is an ATM. A lot of businesses will, if they've already been in business for a while. Some you'll discover that the ATM owner or the business owner owns the ATM and then they don't want to service it anymore, or somebody else does and they abandon it. And then sometimes, you know what, the ATM operator is doing a great job and you just drop your card off and say, hey, if they leave, you know, give us a shot. So that's what you spend most of your time doing, is looking for locations. The other thing they start doing is they network with other businesses to try to get new locations. So there's 3 things. They're looking for locations by cold calling, on a pop-in, they network, and then they use other people to help them get locations. I always call those people mavens, but basically somebody who's in the location already doing business with that person, and now you're going to just use them as a reference to get yourself in the door. Point number 2, ATM operators such as myself, we buy ATMs. So now we get the location, we buy the ATM, we bring it in our shop or facility, program the ATM. Some of you guys are new to the game. What we'll do is we'll actually program the ATM for you. We'll drop ship it in your location or drop ship it to you. But if you're an ATM operator, for the most part, you're constantly buying ATMs, cleaning them up, and then getting them ready. We change our locks, a lot of guys don't, but those are the kind of things that you're doing. Now sometimes you'll notice that, oh, when you go into a location, there's an old ATM, you might buy that old ATM and you might be able to fix it up and restore it. Most of the time you can't, but sometimes you can. So then the other thing you're doing is you're going to try to fix your ATM up to get it ready to go out in location again. Point number 3 is we're managing cash, constantly managing cash. If you got one ATM, there's not a whole lot to manage. But you got 20, 25 ATMs, you're trying to say, okay, what's the minimum amount of money that I can put in this ATM to get me from point A to point B. Point A to point B means from however long you're going to be doing the business. If it's 3 days, if it's 5 days, it's 2 weeks. So you're trying to figure out how much money do I need to put in this ATM this time period, let's call it 10 days, so I can get to the next 10 days. Maybe that's 15,000, maybe it's 3. We don't know. There are algorithms in your portfolio or on your dashboard that'll help you forecast those things. But those are the things you're doing. You're trying to manage cash. How much money do I have in the bank? Is there a holiday coming up? How much money do I need to carry? Sometimes we have a 3-day holiday. Sometimes we have a 4-day holiday. How do I get that money and those funds to go? Because I can't get it out of the bank. I got to have enough of cash to make it from this time period to that time period. So you're constantly managing that cash. Point number 4 is service. From time to time, you're going to get a service call. They're gonna hit you up with a text message. They're gonna call your office. They're gonna call your cell phone, and they're gonna say, "Hey, my ATM's down. It's out of paper. There's a bill jam. This customer was having a problem." Most of the time, you can resolve those issues by just looking on your phone on the mobile app. You can see, oh, what's not out of money. There's plenty of money in there, but you know what? There was insufficient funds for that card holder. Or you know what? The ATM works. We just had, maybe they put the ATM card in backwards and they caused an error to show up on the screen, but you know what? It'll reset itself. It'll be fine. Or there's a bill jam, and then on your portal you'll be able to see, yep, the ATM dispenser's down and we have to send a tech out there. Or if you guys are in business for yourself, you'll have to go out there, relieve that money out of the ATM, unjam it, and then you can cycle it once, and it should go up on, if everything is working, it should go up and working. Now sometimes it'll jam the belts and the belts will fall off, so you have to carefully put those belts back on. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen once in a while. Those are the things you'll have to do. The other thing is, most people are running what we call a wireless cellular device in your ATM. Sometimes the signal goes down, sometimes the power supply goes out, so you'll have to go replace that power supply and then get your ATM up and running. Or if you're running on their network, sometimes they switch providers. They'll go from, in Chicagoland area, they might go from an AT&T to a Comcast, or Comcast back to AT&T. So you will have to go out there and reroute that ATM back into that switch or router and make sure it works. Because a lot of times those guys are switching, they don't care about your ATM, they just unplug it. I don't know what this is, whoop, out the window. So you'll have to reconnect that and make sure ATM works. And point number 5 is, when you're getting a location, you're talking to location, you're going to have to differentiate yourself between splitting the surcharge, not splitting the surcharge, how much surcharge do I give, and you're going to have to do, a lot of people still write checks. We don't write checks. We eliminated the check writing situation. You'll have to make that decision. So at the end of the month, you could be, every month, you might be printing out statements, mailing out the statements, mailing out a check. Or, like what we like to do, set it up on an automatic email where we get the customer's email, it automatically sends them an email with their statement, and ACH them their money between the 3rd and the 8th in the next month. So it's flawless, and it's seamless, and it takes a lot of pressure off you from writing checks and mailing envelopes. But if you want to do that, that's just one more thing that the ATM operator has to do. So if you're interested in starting your own ATM business, I want to invite you to our free training entitled How to Set Up Your ATM Business Before You Buy Your Very First ATM, so you can start the business off right and avoid costly mistakes along the way. You'll discover how the ATM business works and possibly the income you can make explained in detail, how to set up an ATM business and what category you needed to register it under, how to open up a business bank account for your ATM business. Plus, I will share with you how to talk to banks professionally and in detail so you feel confident and prepared when dealing with them. Others charge for this training, but I'm going to give it to you absolutely free, so register in the link below. Again, this is Phil from PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind, where we buy your freedom back one transaction at a time.